cut out your heart applique shape, go ahead and pin it to the interfacing. Make sure you have the interfacing glue side facing the right side of your fabric. Stitch all the way around. This will get trimmed nice and tidy. I just used my regular scissors to go around the first time. Just use caution, don't cut through your stitching. And then I took my pinking shears around the curvy parts. Just trimmed up a nice area there on each of those curvy parts so that my heart would turn out pretty. Just pull the interfacing away from your fabric. Find a spot where you have a little bit extra. I kind of went off to the side there, and trim an opening through which you can turn your fabric heart applique shape out, right side out. You'll have glue dots on the outside, and then your fabric also will be on the outside, the right side of your fabric. And having the glue dots on the outside makes it especially easy to press down. So after you have done all of that, kind of locate where you want your applique to go. I just did the old trick of folding it in half and then folding it in half, finger press. Got a little hard to see, so I used a pin to kind of help me locate that center. And then I used my measuring tape. I think it was about 2 inches on each side. Then I used some crystal glass head pins to pin it into place. I wanted to press it down and I did not want the pins to melt, so these are my favorites for that. They're also very small and typically don't leave marks after they've been pressed. And there you go. Now it's time to choose some thread. And I kind of decided I wanted to go with a pink. This one is for me, and I love pink. So even though I kind of waffled around, I grabbed some lavender, decided. The brown thread in my bobbin made me go with the pink thread for the needle. I just felt like it would be a nice combo, and it was. It just turned out kind of pretty. It almost looks needle punched in a way. This is the opposite. I was able to make 3 using the floral canvas as the heart template for my other 3 table toppers, but I ran out of that. I didn't have enough canvas for the body, so I just had to switch it around. And now I'm going to use some warm and natural pieces. For the other 3 I used a full piece. I just had to use up some of these little strips that I had, kind of fit them in, trimmed. And of course I don't put it all the way to the very edge. I don't need it in my seam allowance. So just sort of figure out what I need, cut it. And then I used spray and bond as my basting adhesive. And after that I pressed it down, and then I'm marking 3 inches. My ruler is 3 inches wide, so I can mark just using my ruler. I don't have to measure out the 3 inches. I'm just doing a diagonal before I stitch. Okay, now I've stitched it. I'm trimming up all my threads. Lots of threads. Okay, that's one of the sides. I'm just going to put these two right sides together and pin it. And I'm pinning far away from my stitching lines, just enough to hold everything together. And once I get that done, I will just go ahead and mark where I want to begin and end. Okay, now that I've stitched everything together, I'm going to remove all the pins and trim. So I just trim away all the excess fabric. I created my little gate, as you know I do. Trim those corners, trim all the excess, and clip the corners in, and then turn the entire tabletop piece to the outside so that it's right sides out. And using a point turner, I'm going to push out my corners gently. Get it ready. All four corners, and smooth it out, get the edges ready, and then go press. So I have pressed it and stitched it. I did 2 rows of stitching on the outer edges, so there's the Valentine side, or if you wanted to do it for some type of family gathering, and then just tied it up, and here are the other ones. I spent a little bit of time getting the Happy Valentine's Day cards ready. Just writing Happy Valentine's Day. I think I used a sticker from my little pack that I got from my daughter in Oregon for Christmas. You can see one right there on the corner. So I took care of getting all of those cards written and put together. So I've got one for my daughter in Oregon, one for my daughter in Washington State, and one for my sister in Alabama. And they'll be going out. Well, I had planned to mail those out tomorrow. However, we are right smack dab in the middle of about to get blasted with a big winter storm and a lot of snow. So chances are pretty good they're not going to go out tomorrow. I wanted to create a way to tie the little cards on, so I took some of the waste from the canvas, and having cut it with my pinking shears, I thought, I know, I'll do a decorative stitch right down the middle from my sewing machine, and that's what I did. So I'm using the same stitch that I used to apply the applique hearts down the middle of this piece of canvas. Once I got them ready, I just tied them to the other ribbon, so they each just say Happy Valentine's Day. And here's how I tied them. I'm just looping it through the other ribbon or fabric tie that I made, and tying a knot and just putting them on. And then for me, I'm just gonna slip it behind there, and I'll put that on my dining room table, and then we'll open it up and use it on Valentine's Day. This has really been a fun project. I've enjoyed doing it, and all the little pieces that went into it and the final part was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. I look forward to seeing you in the very next video. Thank you. Bye. once I got them ready, I just tied them to the other ribbon. So they each just say Happy Valentine's Day. And here's how I tied them. I'm just looping it through the other ribbon or fabric tie that I made. And tying a knot and just putting them on. And then for me, I'm just gonna slip it behind there. And I'll put that on my dining room table, and then we'll open it up and use it on Valentine's Day.